Okay, can we get started now? In the previous session, we were looking at the currency and the unit conversion topics. Actually, we didn't look at an example for unit conversion, but it's going to be the same process what you're going to use. You can reference to the standard VDM for unit conversion process. So we looked at the fixed unit fixed currency conversion, and also can have a parameter to pass a variable currency and get that currency conversion done inside the CDS view, which can be for any measures. And then the next topic, or the today's topic, we're going to say value help, or you can call it as input help. Even sometimes you also call that as F4 key help. Whatever the names you have, it's just basically in trying to get the available values from the list, and then we're going to choose some one of them or some of them from there. So basically that's what we call value help. So we'll look at this functionality and how we can achieve this function. This I've got some of the different ways to do that. I will look into the process how it is done. The first example I'm going to use is the text key association. So we're going to say we'll have a text CDS view created. We have seen the dimension, not the dimension, the object model, data category, the text. I think we haven't created any of those such. So the CDS view in the past. Basically, the text, the CDS view is going to make you the language dependent text available for any specific entity or for any specific object. So which is like a text data for your master data object. So we looked at attributes. This is what all the time we're using our attributes. By default, it is attribute data. So now I'm going to say creating a text kind of data, which can be language dependent. So then I'll give that associate to a dimension view, and I will get that to a cube association of the dimension, and then I'll go and create another consumption view on top of that, and I'll use that in analytics query or the CDS query to see how the text with key both are coming in the value help. So if I just put this on the diagram, the process or the example I'm going to explain here is going to be just little. I'm going to draw this process, and then we can see how this is going to be done. So I'm going to have from the finance model, so I will have a base. I'm going to have a base CDS for the text. I'm going to bring company code text. Can say company code text, and this is going to be a CDS, and I'm going to have company code data, which is your main company code data table. So you can say company code attributes for that example, and this is going to associate to get the text data, and I'm going to make this as a dimension, company code dimension. So at the same time, I'm going to have another transactional, which is on act.k. That's going to be cube CDS view. I'm going to associate this dimension. Just draw this one in a different color. This is going to go here, and then this is going to be go into the company code dimension. This is my dimension CDS, and this is my text CDS, and this is my dimension CDS, and this is my cube CDS, and I'm going to associate to the company code dimension. And then I have another CDS on top of it just for the query, GL query CDS. So on this one, I'm going to say, I'm going to access this in RS RTR analysis office. And this here, I'm going to use an input parameter, which is like a variable or prompt to be asked or requested in any of the client application. So this is going to be my process. Here, I'm going to say that associate the text to this dimension so that you can get a text data into this dimension. And then with the I'm going to use some annotations for doing this setup. I'll explain that when I go into the example. And I'm going to simply associate this dimension to any of the transactional or cube CDS, and automatically the relationship I am making here from the dimension to the text is going to get all the way across to this place and to this place through those associations. This association and this inherent access make my input parameter to use the relation. I'm saying the relation between this key and the text will be appearing in my input parameter call when it is being done in my OR RSRT2. So this is what we are going to do now. Let's do this in an example. Okay, go into my system. I'm going to have different, yeah, this is okay. So I'm going to choose my, I think everything is inside this one. It's just a little not okay, but I'm going to be okay. I did not create sub packages to separate those views, but should be okay for now. I'm going to be continuing in the same place. So my CDS this time, actually, I'm going to name this as company code, the company code text. Okay, and I'm going to say next, finish it. It's going to be a very basic CDS. So I'm going to have it just going to remove everything, and I'm going to grab that code from my notepads. So it's going to be inside the topic 14. So I'm going to have 14 from the finance model. So I'm going to use my company code data. 14 is for below. Yes, yeah. It's going to grab this one, the text CDS view for my company code data. It's very simple. I can explain the code there. I'm going to name this as always one because I would have used this one in the past when I was doing my initial test. So I'm reading the T001T. That's current. That's actually the text table for your company code data. So the key of this table is going to be BUKRS company code, and then I'm bringing the language text field. So here I'm also representing or annotating this column saying semantics.text true, which means it is identifying the text field in this particular CDS view. That's one thing which you will have to use in order to represent this column as a text column when you're associating to some dimension. So here I'm defining this data category as text. So just recap. If you see the value, the code completion for the data category, we have the text, hierarchy, and value help. So this is not a value help series. This text series I'm bringing. We'll look into hierarchies and value help in the later example. So now I'm going to look at the text one. So with this annotation, it is going to be identified as language dependent text data category for this CDS view. And that's it. There's no difference. Also have a representative key as BUKRS. That's the only thing here, but this is also happens to be BUKRS. Still, I have to do this representative key, in order to establish the foreign key and primary key relation with another one. It is required. So that's it. I'm activating it, which is good. And I'm going to define another CDS view, which is going to be a dimension CDS, as I shown in the diagram in the beginning. I'm creating that scenario inside the system. So I'm going to say CDS dimension for com code. I'm going to name this as company code dimension CDS. Okay, I'm going to say next, and just say next and then finish it. Going to remove this one, and then grab the, this is what I'm doing now. I'm going to grab the next code snippet from my, oops, yeah, up to this point. Okay, do it, and I'm going to name this _1 and also name this as 1. And you can see here my source is T001. This is the table for company code data, main table. Then I'm also creating an association to company code text, the one which I just created, so it's _1, then naming that association as company code _text. The join condition is on BUKRS between these two. So I will say that I am representing an association, object model _text association. This is an annotation which makes a relation between your column, BUKRS column. It is it is actually you remember key and text together coming in inside your columns in BW or in HANA. When you label it, it comes as a key and text for you in analytical applications. If you remember native HANA calculation view modeling, there's something called label. So when you label a column, another column to a column in the semantics of the top layer, it's going to associate your text column all the time for the particular characteristic. So similarly, you're making an association to the company text CDS view, which is just we had it defined here, and that's how you're representing BUKRS to get the text for that BUKRS column from the text association. And that's it. And this is going to be my analytics data category. This is not an object model data category. There's a difference between object model data category annotation and analytics data category annotation. So I'll have to don't get confused. The values for the analytics data category are cube, aggregation, dimension, and fact. So this is a dimension. The text is not a data category for analytics. This is object model category. Okay, that's something which we defined in the past. So that doesn't have anything to do in getting this as an info provider in reporting. This doesn't make you use this as a reporting info provider, but this does, because it's identified as a dimension analytics. So you're using this as an info provider in analytics, in any of the analytics applications. And then representative key for this one is again BUKRS, because that's going to be my primary key in there. And there is no other things which you may have to really know in this example. So I'm going to say activated. And as it's done, I'm going to say the third one, transaction thing now. So this is going to be an ACDoc table. So I'm going to build something very simple on ACDoc, universal ledger, very simple one. It's not complicate the things, just to explain this scenario. So just take a very simple thing to explain the scenario. I'll go to my Studio, again their definition, new data definition, and then say this time it's going to be CDS cube for AgDoc. Cube CDS. It's going to be okay, and next, finish it. I'm going to remove this whole thing and then copy, paste it. Okay, I'm defining this CDS. I'm going to just rename these ones with one. It should be okay. And this is going to category cube, which means you have to have a measure or key figure in there. And then the default aggregation is sum. That's how it knows that it is going to be a measure. So if you don't do this one, if you don't define default aggregation for any object, by default it becomes a characteristic. We'll come into those examples in the later part of the topics. But yeah, just to understand that if you don't define this default aggregation annotation, that becomes a characteristic, and you'll have to do this one if you're going to use this as a measure. That's how you define measures versus characteristics. And I'm just defining a couple of columns from AgDoc here, which is BUKRS is represented as RBUKRS as company code, and there is another column count. I'm taking it. These are the two level characteristics I've taken. I also have taken the currency column as a currency code, and I'm assigning this currency code column to the measure TSL, which is balance, total balance key figure or the measure. And then I'm just representing COMP dim as an association. So what if I don't do this one? If I don't do this one, my relation between dim to text CDS wouldn't be navigated or wouldn't be possible in the next level CDS or in the query. So this is required to have this association exposed to the further final layer of the CDS view model. So without having this association, there is no way that you your underlying association is known in the top layer. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to say okay, activate it. That's done. And finally, I'm going to have one query. That's just going to be one-to-one simple query. There is no logic in there. I'm going to put that query for my example. Okay. Again, this is okay. This is a query for doc query. I already defined the aggregation on a column in my cube CDS view, so I'm going to have simple query level or the consumption CDS view here. So I can name that as a consumption. It's a medium. This is okay for documentation. I don't need anything to be documented. The most important annotation here is a query true, analytics query true, which makes a CDS transient query to be created. So I'm going to name this as one and then just name this as another one. And that's it. I'm defining this with parameter syntax. So I'm going to use a parameter, p underscore company code. And I'm defining a parameter and I'm using in the where class of this the CDS view. So I'm having company code in the rows and the other two columns count and currency in the free characteristics, and finally my total balance is going to be in the columns. So you don't have any measures or the aggregations here because it's going to inherit from the underlying CDS view, which is cube. So this is how it knows what's going to be the aggregation for this column. Okay, that's it. I'm going to activate it. This is done. I'm going to access this in RSRT. I can go to GUI and display RSRT, and I'm going to name this as same thing which I already have the past. This is going to be 1. That's it. So it's going to be showing me a input help. This is, if you do an input parameter, generally you don't get this input help button, right? It's going to be a plain text and you don't have to enter whatever. So with that text association, what we built and then associate that to a dimension, now we get this values key and text as well. So now you can choose the value from the existing. I don't have the data for all of them, but I have data for 1710. So I'm going to find that maybe. Always really not really good at the come on, filtering and finding the GUIs. Just tried my best. 1710. Because yeah, so this is my 1710. Is no text for this. Is okay. I'm saying okay and then say enter it. And I have my currency in multiple currencies, is why it's showing as strict. I'm going to pull in my account number from the into drill down, so it's going to get me to the currency which is associated for this. So there are all of them, most of them are dollars, which is okay because we are going by an account number and company code. It's no surprise that it's there's somewhere which is star means there are multiple currencies in the further drill down of this account. But I didn't take any. Did I take currency? Yes, I did take currency. So if I drill down by currency, I'm going to get everything now. So this is INR and then dollar together is part of this account. That's why it was showing mixed. So this is okay. So it is not something we are doing for any data analysis purpose, but yeah, the idea is here to get the value help. Okay. And I'm going to show you another example with foreign key association. So this is what we have done, right? We associated to this one and then use this in a cube level CDS view and created a query and then use that input parameter and then call that input parameter to provide the value help. Okay, and let me create another example. This time I'm going to explain another topic called foreign key association. We've been using this foreign key association and we kind of touch based on the topic of what is foreign key association annotation. Really, we didn't see any example with that. So I'm going to take an example on that foreign key association. Now it's going to be next foreign key association. I'll create 2 CDS views. I'm going to create new data definition and then I CDS FK association. Okay, 1, I can call it as FK association 1 and say next and then say next, finish it. Okay, a very simple example I'm taking from the S-Flight schema. So I'm going to say that defining a view which is from S car table with some 4 columns inside. It's very basic, simple read from S-Flight table. And there's no big thing happen, just that it's a data category dimension. That's it. And also representative key for this is char ID. This is going to be your primary key and is a unique representative key for this CDS view. Simple, activating it. I'm going to say another CDS view, this time cube 1, and I'm going to associate that cube CDS to the dimension CDS, which is, we have already seen that, and also do the foreign key association there. Go there, data definition, new data definition, and then going to say this time CDS FK association going to be 2. 2. Finish it. Oh, the example is very simple. There's nothing complex in it. It's just that functionality or how it's going to behave. That's what we are concentrating here. I'm going to send 1 to it. So this is reading from SPFLI table, the flight schedule table, and associating to the previous CDS view, the foreign key 1. I think it's just, I'm going to have 1 there. And I'm keeping the association name, alias name as this one, and then defining a relation on carrier ID. And then for carrier ID, now I'm saying I'm giving an annotation called object model foreign key association. So I'm not going to define any other characteristics from the carrier ID, which is, I think if you say that carrier name, currency code, URL, there are some of the characteristics defined for that initial dimension CDS. Right now I'm not using any of them. I just expose the dim FK association to the next layer, but really I didn't use it. I didn't give it in a path expression, which means if I don't give that as a path expression, you cannot see that in the target on the top level CDS view, or you can see it in the top level CDS, but reporting applications cannot see the objects inside the dim FK because it's just exposing doesn't make to be called from a reporting application. But I have an association, foreign key association defined. I'm just giving a kind of a lookup on dimension series. So we're going to associate this. Basically, this is getting this character ID in the transaction table or the queue is going to get into this particular CDS view, which is your foreign key 1, and can get all the information in that particular CDS view. Let's see how it is going to be done. So I activate it. I don't have to have another CDS view for query. You can have it, or because I'm not really worried about, it's not about input parameter. You can do those input parameter and see even input parameter can also have this foreign key association use and get all the help required. We'll come to that in a minute, but without query or input parameter, I'm just showing an example. So this one here, and then foreign key, I'm going to say to see this one. Okay, all right. I'm going to say to the end / exclamatory mark to see, and then the provider. So I'm going to say execute it. Okay, did I make something wrong? Okay, this is what my SQL view, not the CDS view. Okay, and to see, it's going to be there. / in the home. I'm going to remove this one. Should be okay this time. Okay, I was some cache issue which was giving me in the past. So this is okay now. I have my connection number. I also have airline number. So if you go into my system again to get the names. Let's go to use the query here is, I didn't really give the name of the carrier ID and connection ID. So okay, carrier ID is the first one, and then it's just going to be, and then connection ID is the second one. Let me just get the remove from drill down. I always forget remove from drill down. I just wanted to remove this from drill down. I forgot all these navigations. Okay, now I have this connection number, which is my, sorry, I wanted to get this out. Connection number, remove from drill down. I wanted to keep the airline in there. So my airline is going to be the primary key of the CDS. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go in there and then say properties. So if you look at this properties right now here, I have the attributes of the dimension for the airline. So you see that airline currency URL, they're all appearing here. So I can have them into the active display into the screen. So what is going to happen, you can see that the airline, the text, currency, URL, these are all the, you can also represent these as a display attributes as well. So remember, within the BW way to represent this one is, so you have a concept called display attribute where they always associate with your primary characteristic value in many places. So that's how you, with the foreign key association, you are able to get the master data attributes into your transactional report without defining them directly as a path expressions in your code. You know what I'm saying? So in this code, I didn't have any path expression to go into my dimension CDS view and get that particular attribute. This is not what I'm doing. This is what Q, not meaning of Q. Q meaning you have several foreign key associations to go to different dimensions and get those attributes whenever you require them. So that's how the master data is stored outside of your cube. All right, that's in the dimensions. And whenever you require those dimension attributes and you're representing through the foreign key association, and it's kind of a lookup table for your dimension, and then you're pulling in those attributes into the transactional data out. So you can have measures as well in the bottom, which are, I didn't take it, but you can take it. The attributes, what you have it in here, are requested and when you ask for them as part of your lookup dimension. So this is the importance of foreign key association annotation. You can see that in action in this example now. Okay, I also wanted to show you another thing about consumption filters and consumption input help. So for example, if I go to value help through the consumption, there are several annotations within consumption.filter, consumption.value help. These are all your BEX related things basically. If you're familiar with your BEX concepts, all those apply in CDS view concepts of analytics as well. Let's take a look at this one. This is explained in the documentation. Yeah, so okay, 14C is my model. Yes, so this is going to be my model. I'm going to say copy paste this one. Okay, new data definition, high serious consumption, IP of consumption input help. I actually never tried this one and didn't this before. I just took this example and I have to see if there is any error coming in this session. Which means I think I haven't compiled it in the past. I'm not sure. I don't remember whether I compiled this or not. I can try it out. This is okay. So I'm going to put this one as consumer one. So basically here I'm reading a standard CDS view, which is already given part of not the standard CDS view, but the demo content CDS view, SEPM one, I sales order, which is going to be a sales order alias name, and associating to the BP value help. So this is another CDS which I've created in the past. This is also coming from demo. Let me see if I have this created in the past. Okay, I'm going to grab this from the system. Okay, I didn't take it. That's going to be okay. I'm going to find that in a few seconds. I'm going to say search, object search. This is going to be, yeah, it's automatically taken. Go for it. It's there. I don't know where did I put this one. It's okay, you can use this one. I don't want to create it again, but just this is going to be simple. I'm going to explain. So here, here I'm just saying these are the search annotations, couple of search annotation, which makes you to search, making enable for search in your UI applications basically. So you can search. It enables you. Fuzzy search is for possibility of the search, and these are the search annotations you find it to make it enable for the search. So company name is enabled for search, so you can choose that. So I'm saying this is a simple value help defined. The name is value help, but it really speaking there's no value help configuration in this one. Just a key, business partner, and there is a role in there, and making this company name as a searchable column. That's it. It's a simple like any other CDS view thing. In my consumption or the consumption CDS view, I'm saying read the sales order CDS view and go to the association, which is CDS view, which is just have shown, and the demo IP variable. And then join on the customer. You're defining the bill to party, and you see that there's a customer column from sales order now annotated with consumption value help. This is where I am using my association of a CDS view to be provided as a value help for this particular column. You know what I'm saying? So this is previously we have used foreign key or the text association to make these things happen. What I'm saying, we're using the consumption value help of the parameter. You are invoking the value help for this particular for this particular CDS. So you're going to get the input help based on the association which is defined here. The business partner help the association or the CDS view is containing a simple the simple model which uses a some of the columns inside the business partner table or the CDS view. So that's it, and I'm going to say activate this one. I'm going to run this one now to see. That's it. Execute it. Okay. It's a view consumption, but it didn't define with query, so it should be a non-query. I'm going to say / transient provider with 2C. I'm going to bring in customer, and then I'm going to say properties of that. So now you can see that it is representing all the columns from the business partner. So you can see the business partner role, username, and all of these are available from the attributes. This is from the info provider level. But if I use this parameter in an input parameter for this one and use that parameter to be prompted, I'm going to get the value help for this particular customer, and then the value can be taken from the associated consumption help association. So just like how I shown in the first example. So for both foreign key association and as well as for my consumption input help, you can have an input parameter defined and then a consumption query, and then get the input well help from there. So if I have to explain this through a diagram, yeah, this is going to be my diagram, I guess. Yeah, and actually I can get the proper link for this diagram. So that's the link. Oh, okay. Okay, so here this is providing value help documentation. So you got based on foreign key association, we have kind of looked at this one. We'll come to that. And this is for using foreign key association, foreign key relationship. So how it is modeled here is having a text table as a T0 company code text we have created, and we assign this to a dimension CDS view. We can also call it as value help CDS view, and then we associate it to consumer CDS view, which is going to be my ArcDoc here, and then ArcDoc here cube is directly consumed in reporting application, or it is consumed through another query or any of the other applications. So this is what we have done in the previous example. So this is the text to get the text input help. So in this time, if you are doing the foreign key association, if you are using the foreign key association at this place from my cube to the dimension CDS view, I can get the value help of this one, and I also can get any of the dimensions which are defined in this value help CDS view. So both value help and also retrieving the dimensions are possible through foreign key relationship. We have seen getting the attributes of the master data inside my consumer CDS with foreign key association. At the same time, you can also get the value help input help if you're using a parameter because of this foreign key association. Of course, even though you're not using this foreign key association, you're still getting through this text CDS view, but that's irrespective of whether you're using text association or not, your foreign key association is going to get value help from the associated dimension CDS view. So this is what it is represented here. You can go and find the steps and clearly. And there's another one is called value help based on model view. That's what consumption filter is. It's pretty thin model. So you just have a DB table or view and then created a model, just created a model. And then you're associating that model to a transaction CDS view. And then that's it. And then when you're associating to a transaction CDS view, you're defining that with consumption filter. That's what we have done. It's going to be here, a consumption dot value help. and that is going to get you, in this example, it's meant to be for the UI, so that it doesn't have an input parameter defined for me. That's why I didn't show you. So I can go ahead and create a query or consumption CDS view on top of it, and then define an input parameter there, and that's going to bring me the value help for the business partner or the customer from the associated dimension view. So either you can use consumption value help or foreign key association for getting the value help for this input parameters in the in the reporting. But this is a UI design. That's why they didn't haven't got the query level CDS view to give those parameters defined. Okay, this is about the input help in several places.